Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to another Thirsty Thursday. It's a new setup, so I'm trying to get used to where to look. But hopefully, everyone's having a good Thursday. And today we have the great Rihanna. So, just wanted to say thank you, again for coming on to another show. And what has been up? How have you been? And what's new in your world?
It's been good. Apparently, my experience was so terrible. I decided to not come back a second time. So thanks for inviting me. We always
Anytime.
have fun on here. Things have been going good. We just finished Cyber LabCon, and as chaotic as that was super fun. And I am so glad that you're able to kind of help out behind the scenes. So that was a super fun surprise. But yeah.
Yeah, no, that was super fun. I really enjoyed, being a part of it, being a part of the behind the scenes, in front of the scenes. So, was this first conference of yours what you expected? And if you could have done something better or different, what would have been?
So throughout the entire event, I call myself a doomsday prepper, mostly because I'm like, what can go wrong? Something's gonna go wrong. I don't know what it is. And yeah, no, I actually have a note that says things I effed up on. or future Reanna problems, I think was the name of the note. And I had like lesson learned as I went through it. And I will say and nobody could really tell this, like going through this, there was a major technical difficulty. We did not start at the time that was stated. We actually started 5 minutes before. And so the platform we were using to host the conference on, we had two tracks.
Hmm.
And the platform, when you stream, like for example, if you use StreamYard or Restream, it shares an API stream token.
Hmm.
And so when you try to host your tracks at the same time through these platforms, obviously you can't have two streams sharing the same API token. So we went live and I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, what do we do? It's like track two is completely down. I was like, we have the keynote. When in doubt, we can have like the MC just like stall us, filibuster us for a bit. And lucky for me, I had just got done doing a live stream a few weeks back, playing the password game where you try to like you get like a puzzle and you have to make a password based on the requirements. And so my OBS was ready and going. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna screen share for a good 10 hours on this platform and nobody's gonna know. And yeah, it worked out. So lesson learned for next year. Don't do that.
That's cool. That's yeah. So it was obviously I didn't see the back end technical difficulties, but I know some people had a good time because I streamed it live. The CTF aspect on my channel, which obviously was just a scoreboard, so you don't have to go over there and watch it because it just scores changing.
It had some
But
cool beats on there, like
yeah,
some jazzy lo-fi hipster beats. I was like, "Who is this?" I was like, "New year, new Pat."
yeah, awesome, awesome. So I wanted to talk about you know, conferences like this is your first one. Obviously, you said you have some stuff that went wrong. Um, so we talked a little bit about this on Derek's show, but what is like your live um, conference look like? Do you have some? Obviously, it just happened, just a couple weeks ago. But did you like think about doing this like a live event, meaning like in person event?
Yeah, you know what was funny? So we were on Derek's show and he was all like, "It'd be cool to have this in person." And I'm just like, "How the heck am I gonna take my dog anywhere?" Like how like my like I have to bring my dog because he is everywhere in my life.
Hmm.
And when I got done with that, I was thinking of logistics and how could we make it happen? Maybe you can collaborate with the university, like things in my head. And then I was like, you know what? I was like, a dog park. How cool would it to be have a conference at a dog park? And so that idea spiraled into me reaching out to nonprofits and because I'm from Kansas City. So I was reaching out to all these like animal rescue shelters and stuff like that. I'm like, hey, how would you guys feel about having like an event where you bring your puppies, people can adopt it, and we could support mental month, awareness, and people
Hmm.
can come and learn about cybersecurity and pet dogs, and it'd be like a fun event. So I have a few emails back, but no promises. But yeah, no, thanks. You guys gave me that idea. So
Yeah, that'll be pretty cool. That's actually a pretty cool idea, and I think that should be. Remember we talked about this on his show too, like not wait the whole year, right?
yeah,
So we can, and obviously I can be a part of this. And I wanted to bother you as well. Like, there's some cool stuff that you have on your Discord, and obviously join her Discord because there's some cool people. And like, I might have to borrow your friend that said your shit was whack, and then now it's all decked out. So, so I want to like get, how you have like your subscribers and your
yeah,
you LinkedIn, like you can see like how many.
yeah.
Like, I don't know how to do any of that stuff.
I don't
Like,
know either. Well, it's funny, and my poor Discord, my admin, oh, he's doing great things now. Like he has a big kid job and he's doing fantastic things. And he he had reached out to me. I've never talked to this kid ever. And he joined my Discord and he goes, "This is terrible." And I was like, let's get on a call. And I was like, why is it terrible? Like, I know it's terrible. It wasn't supposed to go live. It was a complete accident. I was actually in like dev mode for the longest time, and I accidentally went live. And it's just like, oh, well, people are joining now, so I guess that's a thing. So, and so he joined like within that first few weeks, and he's like, girl, like, what are these permissions? And I was like, what permissions? He goes, yeah, exactly. You work in cyber. That's so embarrassing. And I was like, oh, hi. I was like, I don't work on identity access. So,
yeah.
but and that's the thing. Like, I try to make everything so collaborative. And if they wanted the initiative to make it something, absolutely go for it. Like, I'm not gonna be upset. There's nothing super sensitive in there, and if people have ideas, sure, it's fun.
Hmm. Yeah, no, no, it's definitely it came along. Like I go in there, jump in there, see what's up, and it's definitely has some cool stuff, some cool features. So
Yeah.
that's
The dogs are annoying. Officer Paul Bark is like the bane of my existence. He wasn't even supposed to exist. He was an accident, and so everything in that Discord channel is an accident.
no, that's awesome. That's awesome. So as far as like that's the conference that you just did. Do you have any other conferences in the works for the rest of the year? Like Black Hat's coming up in a few weeks. Well,
Yeah,
actually
I'll be
next
in
week.
Vegas. I will not be seen for the full week. I tell people I think 3 days in Vegas is sufficient, mostly because I'm getting old and I can't keep up anymore. It's a lot for 3 days. It's hot. You're talking to people. You're constantly like I call it on, like you're having, conversations. You're trying to adjust like and cater towards other people and what their topics are, and especially for people that are very ingrained in the community like you and Derek and a lot of other people, like people come up and just ask you advice because you're transparent with what you say and you're very genuine with your opinions and stuff. And after the second and third day of this, you're just like, oh my gosh, Red Bull ain't hitting like it used to. Like I need a nap. And then yeah, so I'm actually going for B-sides Las Vegas.
Okay.
I am running I guess like a piece or a portion of one of their happy hours. So I'll be doing Monday night. And the happy hour is around a like role playing cyber escape room. So like, hey, who done it type of thing. So it'd
Mm.
be super fun. There's gonna be puzzles. There's gonna be uh fun, good vibes. I don't know. It's Vegas, so glitter or not. I don't know. It's besides anything goes.
Yeah. No, that's pretty sick. That's awesome. And so you're coming in when? Like Sunday and leaving Tuesday?
Yeah, or I haven't really decided yet, and I know like August is literally in 2 weeks. I still have not bought my flights. I like to do this thing where I wait last minute. I think that's called procrastination. You can endorse me for it on LinkedIn, but but yeah, no. Well, TBD for right now. So at least like I will be there Monday for sure. for
Cool.
obvious reasons.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. So is that the only one that you have planned for this year?
So I have besides Las Vegas, I have an event out in Colorado and potentially South Dakota. But usually what I do, I try to schedule out my conferences at least a year in advance. And for people that travel with public speaking or do it as a side gig, like a lot of times out of state, out of city speakers, it's on their own time, it's on their own money. A lot of the times, like their primary employer probably doesn't pay for it. It's a whole thing. And usually with my conferences, I try to map out budget. I try to map out locations, stuff like that, and get it like an idea of how much I'm going to spend or want to spend.
Mhm.
For me, and I don't know if this is the same for you, but for me, I take PTO for all of my events. And
Likewise.
so now I'm like, okay, so if I take PTO, do I have time for like PTO for me? What if I want to have a personal day, type of thing. So it's really just kind of where and how I want to schedule that out.
Mhm.
And usually towards the end of the year, I don't like to do anything. I like to have Thanksgiving and then I like to go into hibernation for at least 4 weeks and then come back out and be like, hey.
Yeah. So is the one in Colorado, is that in January, if I may ask?
I believe it's November.
Oh, November. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, 'cause there's one in I think January or February in Colorado. I forget what conference, and I was invited to it, so I might be speaking at that. I forgot what conference it is though. Someone reached out to me like, "Hey, would you like to come out here?" And
You're like, yeah.
yeah, I come out there. That'll be fun. And I'll be in October. I'll be out in South Dakota as well for a Wild West Hacking Fest.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot about that one. Yeah, that's a good one. I
yeah.
have never been to one of those and it's been on my bucket list.
It's definitely fun. Like
Yeah.
last year was my first one, and to be honest, I actually like it better than DEF CON.
Yeah.
It's more intimate. It's more like all everyone's pretty much there, and it's like you were saying, like what do we call like the level, your energy levels or whatever. Your
Yeah, you're always on.
exactly like for DEF CON, and it can
There's
be
just
overwhelming.
so much going on. Like, it's not just, like, you're talking and adjusting, it's just stimulating. Like, there's so
Hmm.
many smells and sights, and I think, like, you just taste things that aren't there, and you're like, "What?" Like, I think that was a Sour Patch Kid mixed with a Subway sandwich, like, you're like,
Exactly.
"I need gum."
Yeah, and like I love everyone and I really appreciate everyone's
Yes.
support and all that stuff, but I'm very like you said from the beginning, like I'm very straightforward, I'm
Yeah.
very blunt. Like if I don't want to talk, I'm going to say leave me alone. Right? Like I tell you straight up like and it happens like even like last year I was just like chatting with
Yeah.
like two friends and like we were just eating and I understand maybe like the conference is big but it's not like massive like we're going to
Right.
cross paths again like it's in the convention center, so it's you're gonna
It's a
cross
decent
paths.
size.
Yeah, it's a decent size, but it's not like you know super super big that it's like oh if I don't talk to you right now, I'm never gonna see you again, right? So it's like if I'm eating or if I'm
Yeah.
just like chilling out, like just have some common courtesy, right? Like and like it's funny because last year it happened even worse because the first year
Yeah.
like I guess that's when I went, but like I had a few people come up, but I guess like my channel wasn't that big yet, or I wasn't
Yeah.
really nobody. I'm just a guppy in the sea. But like now I realize when Eminem says like I just want to sit here
Yep.
and just eat in public and just be left alone,
Yep.
and I don't owe you jack.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, like that's a. I used to say, man, Em, you're a dick. You know what I mean? Like you're
And then now
mean.
you're like, "I get it."
Yeah, and I can only imagine like other content creators that are way bigger, and
Yep.
it's like like poor John Hammond, like he's a good friend of mine, and it's like we were in Hackspace Con and B-side Tampa together this year, and this poor kid, man, and Don was like, dude, like let's just do I need to rescue you? And he's just like
Oh.
stop by stop by stop, and I'm like, yo, John, just learn how to say no. Just like,
Yeah.
hey, man, I gotta go.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Much love, and just keep it moving. Because if you
Yep.
don't, you're gonna be there all day. So,
I've learned for, like, big events and stuff, like, because obviously I, like, and I know you're probably the same way, you wanna talk to people and stuff like that, but sometimes, like, you just wanna go hide in the bathroom and
mhm,
just, like, doom scroll for a bit in silence.
mhm,
But, at least with, like, my following, stuff like that, I definitely wanna make sure I have time for them, so, I try to give, like, 30 to 45 minutes, after any of my presentations, or even, like, have a break, essentially in the morning where I'm out in the open, like I make it like I'm approachable and stuff like that. And then during lunch, I've said this on Derek's channel. I go, like, I leave the area. I need to reset, because it does drain you and you don't want to come off harsh by accident because you're tired and stuff like that. And like, the community gets it. We're all introverts. Well, except for me, but most of us are introverts.
yeah. No, exactly, and I just put that out there because it's not only with me or
Yeah.
you, it's just like with anyone, just have that common courtesy and just respect, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, as I guess my brand and my channel is growing, and that's what's funny, it's interesting because it's like my LinkedIn got disabled, I'm not on
Oh
LinkedIn
my
right
gosh,
now.
I thought you quit, and I was like, "What are you doing?" Like, I was like, "Do I need to have a welfare check on you? Like, where are you?" And then I was like, "Well, his YouTube channel, like, still up, so I guess he's kinda okay?"
Yeah.
And then I was like, "What did you post on LinkedIn that got you taken down that was inappropriate?" I was like, "Sir."
No, it's just like I think it had to do 'cause it's interesting because a friend of mine was like, my MFA got screwed up, and,
Yeah.
like, with LinkedIn Learning, it ties into your if you have it for work, your LinkedIn Learning, it connects
Yep.
to your and obviously, like, things happen, and I'm like, "Okay, like, maybe there's disconnect, I don't know what's going on," and, uh, and then it asked me for my MFA again, and then,
Yeah.
like, then it didn't work, like, my MFA wasn't working, and I was like, "Ah, you know what?" I put in a ticket with them, and I'm like, "Screw this fucking thing." You know what
Well,
I mean?
it was, like, right before, Cyber LabCon too. We're in a group chat, I'm just like, "What?"
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
was
me,
like, "Why
you,
are
and
you
Kevin,
trolling
yeah.
me, man? That's not funny right now."
You blocked my
Like,
ass.
prime peak stress, and you're just like, "Okay, bye."
Yeah, and it's funny because David Meese texts me today. He goes, "Hey man, did you block me?" I'm like, "No,
Like,
man, I didn't block you, man. Like, I didn't block anyone. I should just put a video, like a 30-second video. Hey guys, like, I don't have LinkedIn right now. I didn't block anyone."
just, like, make it like an apology video, like, "Hey, guys, I'm sorry to say this, but the day has come where InfoSecPat is no longer LinkedIn. We're moving full YouTube, full Discord, and maybe Twitch on occasional days, but no more endorsements and no more, like, thought leadership quotes from InfoSecPat. Thank you." I just
Ex-
done.
exactly, exactly. It's really interesting because and I had a conversation with like my aunt, my uncle was just down
Yeah.
here from New York, and I had a lot of like me time. If like I support Uncle Jay, but like the J Rock, he's not. He's like my uncle from the family, but like my uncle Jason, like my uncle Jason was down
Yeah.
here, and I was like, I was just telling him like, man, like, because he asked me, if Jay Connolly, if J Rock is still here. Jay actually like softened up. My uncle Jay has been softened up. If he was like a hot ass, and I was like, hey man, like I'm just getting, I disconnecting from like social media feels pretty good. Like
Yeah.
it's like one less app to go on and just scroll and see what's up and like just like time consuming.
Yeah.
And and it's like I did that same thing with I did that same thing with like Facebook like 2 years ago. I went off like almost a year. Right. Just disabled it. That one I actually disabled and I'm like, screw this thing. I don't need to be on anything. And maybe it's longer than that. No, I'm lying. Probably 4 years ago.
Okay.
And yeah, it
Facebook.
was
I got a story.
go for
It's
it.
not about me, it's about my dad. We're talking about family. So, dad, if you're watching, sorry. He subscribes to my channel. He's such a cheerleader. So I I have a family full of females. It's a gift and a curse depending on how you look at it. I think it's wonderful and fun. One of my nieces, she is getting on Facebook Messenger. And it's my sister's way of saying, like, hey, this is how you can use social media. This is essentially like how you can safely talk to people and how Facebook Messenger for Kids work. My sister has to approve like the people that my niece talks to.
Hmm.
And one of the people that my niece is allowed to talk to is my dad, so her grandpa. And they were just chit chatting or whatever. So my niece calls me one day and she's like, "Hi," and I'm like, "Girl, what's up?" And she's like, "I need money," and I'm like, "No, like you're in elementary. Like, why do you need money?" And she's like, "I want to buy a Nintendo Switch," and I'm like, "Oh, that sounds like something for your mom." And she goes, "She said no," and I'm like, "Does she know you have her phone?" She goes, "No." It's I'm like, okay, well, I no, sorry, girl, like go ask someone else. So she resorts that to asking my dad. And so she's on Facebook Messenger and she goes, "Hi, Grandpa." And my dad's like, "Hey, what's up?"
Hmm.
And she goes, "Can I have money?" And my dad goes, "No." And she goes, "Why?" And my dad goes, "Because you're a stink butt." And this is where it gets good. Um, I taught my niece how to report people on Facebook. Because as a person who works in cybersecurity, you wanna
Yeah.
protect your family as much as you can.
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Hey, this is if you ever feel uncomfortable, if you feel like someone messaged you and you don't like it, if you don't like, this is how you report someone." She goes, "Okay." Fast forward, my dad calls her a stink butt. You know what she does? She reports them for child misconduct language. And so he got banned for having inappropriate language with a minor because he said no to giving her money for a Nintendo Switch. And so of course like I'm posting this on X and LinkedIn. I'm like, please for like if anyone works in Meta, like please like save my dad's account. It's driving me nuts. And the thing is, Meta has blocked him off of Instagram, WhatsApp, like anything they own is completely gone. And then my dad tried signing up with a new like email pseudo name. No, it doesn't work. And so he
Still
was
till
like,
today, he hasn't got it fixed.
he's had it blocked since March.
Damn,
It's never coming back.
Graham.
So my niece was like, "Sorry."
You know,
You
man.
are
That's
savage.
yeah.
And then I had someone comment on my ex post, and I will always remember this, and I died. And someone goes, "This is how Gen Alpha is going to remove the boomers from Facebook is by reporting them through Kids Messenger."
That's funny. That's
And I
actually a
sent
good.
it to my dad, and he goes, "That's not funny." And I was like, "I thought it was hilarious."
Yeah. For a lot of people, maybe may not know, but I worked for Meta for 3 years, and yeah, it's a little late. I think hit me up after, and I'll see if I could try to help
Oh,
out.
no, he doesn't need to go on it. He has Reddit now. He's in a good place, so,
Oh, okay.
because he was like, "I just wanna go on there to see what people are, like, building on their boats or fishing." My dad's super rural, and, I was like, "Dad, have you heard about Reddit?" He goes, "What's the Reddit?" And I'm like, "Oh gosh." So I hooked him up on Reddit, and, I was like, "Hey, how are you doing on Reddit?" He goes, "I don't know about Reddit. There's a lot of opinions on here."
Yeah, that can go down a dark hole real quick.
He's like, "I don't know about that Patrick Mahomes anymore."
Yeah, that's a whole nother bag of worms. Is he a football guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I was like, "Dad, people don't watch football anymore. People watch rugby." He goes, "What?"
that's awesome. That's awesome. Yes, speaking about like Facebook and all this content stuff, like s- what is I wanted to ask, like, so what is your take, like content creation, like say for example I'm new, someone that's listening and said, I want to create content because maybe to beef up my resume or
Yeah.
to put myself out there. So like what is your take and what is your advice for those that like, okay, like I want to put my own brand out there, I want to like get out there, and
Yeah.
how to get started, and we could touch on like the haters, because I'd like to talk about that, because and obviously we all have the love and then you have the hate as well, and what to expect. What are those people to expect when they get on, content creation, and how to deal with that? Because we talked about mental health the other day.
Oh, yeah. It
And,
gets the as much as you're like, you know what?" I was like, "It's still like, it's just another drop in the bucket for
hmm
something that day." Like, for example, I came home it's raining here out in Kansas City, and, the guy that was driving in front of me, I was almost late to this. Not related, but I was at the gas station and I complained because the soda machine wasn't putting out the soda I wanted, and they're like, "Well, we need to change it." I'm like, "Then go change it." And they're like, It's heavy." And I'm like I was like, "I want my Diet Coke." Like, you don't understand. Long
That's like
story
me
short,
with
I got
these
a Diet
keys.
Coke. But I was driving home and the car in front of me and like the rain was so thick, like I couldn't it's hard for you to see. It's one of those like you keep two car lanes and this is why.
hmm
And the guy in front of me slammed on his brakes because I'm assuming he wasn't paying attention. And I slammed on my brakes. I had an office party recently, so I had like crock pots in my back seat.
mm
And the crock pots, of course, on me for not putting it on the floor. I just throw it in my back seat and I was just like, I'll deal with it later.
hmm
And slammed on my brakes, and all those slow cookers went to the front, and the glass lids just broke everywhere. And I'm like, well, that's future problem. So I parked my car, came up here, and got on the street. But it's just like one of those things where it's just like, it's just another thing, you know. First it was my Diet Coke, now it's my slow cookers, you know, problems, I guess. Um, but for content creating, and I do a lot of, I would say like academic talks and stuff like that. Like I go talk to a lot of high schools and middle schools and just talk about building brand, getting into cyber and stuff like that.
hmm
And I tell people what is your brand? I was like, anyone can go on TikTok and do dances and, or makeup tutorials or, whatever that is. I was like, number one, you don't want to see me dancing on TikTok. Just because that's embarrassing for everyone, or maybe not. Maybe it's funny for you guys, but it's embarrassing for at least, some of my relatives. Not my dad, he's probably banned from YouTube by now. But sorry, dad. But like, what is your brand? What do you want to be represented as? When people describe you, what do you want those first three things to be? And so for me, I really sat down and I was like, what if I'm going on LinkedIn? Who is my audience? Because that's where I started. I started on LinkedIn, and that's typically, in my opinion, a lot of technical content creators will start, just because that's where they might get inspiration. They might find people who have the same interest, and LinkedIn's very collaborative, and that's why I like it. Some people will go now on Instagram and stuff like that, but really knowing who your audience is and how you want to teach back to them, it's going to be a big piece of your brand. So when
hmm
I first sat down, I was like, what do I want Rihanna to be? Not TikTok dances. Got it. Okay. And then I was like, what are things that I like? And I was like, well, I really enjoy cyber, you know? And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know who John Hammond was when I first got on LinkedIn. I had no idea who this guy was.
hmm
Um, but I was like, I'm gonna be known as cyber. And I didn't really have anyone to compare with, but I knew I wanted to go in that route. And so now it was kind of like finding, how do I speak to my audience?
hmm
And it was kind of interesting going through my original LinkedIn posts and oh, poor Rihanna. She was so inspirational back then. um, but I was going through my old LinkedIn posts and I was like, you can tell I was trying to find my voice and like things of who I am and what my interest was. And I started following other content creators, so like Mike Miller, David Meese, yourself, and Derek, and all of these other people. I eventually found John Hammond. I was like, this guy's fun. But I was all like, they have a specific niche of what they like to promote. Mike's
hmm
very big on, LinkedIn connections and marketing and branding. And then like you go to your platform and it's very big on continuous education and stuff like that. And that's where I'm like, I like public speaking. I like community engagement, and then I realized there was an area where things that I thought everyone knew, people didn't know.
hmm
Simple things like figuring out how to make a podcast or how to post an image on LinkedIn and make it look professional but personal. Like, like there's all of these different
Yeah.
niches that people don't really think about until they execute on it. And they're like, am I going to be okay? What if like my employer sees this? And I'm like, I hope my employer sees this because this is showing who I am professionally and as a person, you know?
Mhm.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, there's absolute boundaries. You know, I'm not gonna send my dad photos of what I do Friday night downtown. You know, like there's
Yeah,
there's like
exactly.
there is that type of thing. And and again, like you're allowed to have some form of privacy of your life, but what you're putting out there, is it going to be beneficial for someone, or is it going to be beneficial to you as well?
Mhm.
And that's essentially how Cyberspeak Labs kind of started, and where Cyber LabCon started as well. And eventually I started finding my own passions and my own brand. So I like, even my podcast, I try not to only do guest speakers. I feel like there's a lot of podcasts that are bringing professionals on, and and everything else, and they're fantastic. Like, fantastic. They're doing amazing things. But with mine, I wanted to also kind of have like a true crime twist or spin
Mhm.
to it, because I enjoy true crime. That is my guilty pleasure.
Mhm.
That's honestly what I do on Friday nights. But but I wanted to have who I was with it, and not just be a copy paste of someone else's idea. And
Mhm.
I think that's where a lot of people kind of lose their vision and what they want to do and stuff like that. But long story short, I always tell people, I'm like, get out there. If you have an opportunity to be on a podcast, to be on a Thirsty Thursday, just reach out. Don't be afraid to say yes, because you never know how that might find your interest, or like your passions and stuff like that as well. Oh, Kev Tech! Hi, Kev!
Yeah, I need to get Kevin back on. I'll see him in a couple weeks at DEF CON.
Hi, Kev! Yeah. Yeah, I see you.
Yeah, Kevin. Thank you, Kev. Much love, man. Keep keep feeding my addiction. She likes
Well, you
Diet
got your
Coke. I
green
like green
tea, I
tea.
got my Diet Coke, and yelled at a poor high schooler working for the summer. I was like, I think my response was, "Yeah, and I'm tired and I still gotta drive home, so give me my Diet Coke."
So you like it from like the fountain,
I
not
like
like
it from the fountain, like, it just hits different. It's like, I don't know, maybe I'm just bougie. Hey.
yeah. Yeah, that's so yeah, before Kevin interrupted us. I'm just
The
fucking with you, Kev.
audacity of this guy buying you green tea.
So yeah, so getting on LinkedIn, putting yourself out there, getting like your own personal brand, and that's the funny thing because like
Yeah.
even when I started, like I didn't know any of that stuff, and I was like, okay, I was a big influence from Keith Barker.
Yeah.
So like a lot of my stuff I watched, it was him. Even before I found his YouTube, like I just watched his CBT Nuggets, and I'm like, man, I want to be like this guy.
Yeah.
Literally, like I said that, and I was like, man, one day I just need to talk to him and see how he just flows so easily
Yeah.
on camera. And he taught me something that I'll never forget, and hopefully I'll get to see him in Vegas. But like he said, teach yourself in the mirror. So like talk to yourself in the mirror and pretend that's the camera. And that translated so well.
It
Obviously,
does.
sometimes it like if I hit record on my stream deck, I'm like, "Hey guys, welcome back." Oh fuck! Like, all right, let me take a deep breath. Like, of course, it doesn't go like smooth every single time,
Yeah.
but like, so going back to what I was saying, like, I didn't know if I should curse. It's like because it's like, man, like fuck is just like an everyday thing for me, and
Yeah.
it's like I try to, try to be professional or whatever. And I'm like, and I even talked to Keith, and I talked to, I try to talk to other people back then when I first started. And it's funny because, I reached out to Network Chuck, I reached out to Zach Hill, like other YouTube channels that I
Yep.
knew. And this was 6 years ago, 5 years ago. And I was like, hey man, like I just wanted to ask you, I'm looking to get into this game, blah, 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 fucking crickets. And then I reached out to Keith. Meanwhile, it's like me, I felt like I was reaching out to like, I don't know, college basketball kids, and Keith was like LeBron James. So I'm like, this guy's never gonna reach out. And he reached out in a matter of an hour. He reached out. And then he's like, hey man, let's jump on a call. So that's why I have so much respect for him. Like he doesn't get he's not
Yeah.
egotistical. Like he doesn't, and that guy is a brainiac. If those people don't know who Keith Parker is, He's like double CCI. He's the shit, you know. And I'll
Wow.
say that to the day I die. Like that guy is on a different level, but like super humble, super cool guy. And then he's like, yeah, man, like just find your niche. Don't, he's very proper, and he's just like, just do you.
Yeah.
And then I talked to, a few other guys at CBT Nuggets back then, and they're like, just do what you got to do, and just don't be fake. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
And obviously, that's where. So going back to like knowing yourself, knowing your brand,
Yep.
and that's why I always feel like either you love me or you hate me, because I don't think there's any in the middle with me. Because I want to tell you how it is. I want to tell you how I feel, and if I don't like you, I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to fucking be a keyboard warrior. Like if I don't have something to say about you, I'm going to tell you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And and that's
Keyboard warrior. Oh my god.
yeah, keyboard warrior, because there's a lot of them out there, and I wouldn't. That's why I want to trans. I'm saying all this stuff because it merges into the next topic I want to talk about is like the haters, right?
I
And
call them edge lords.
hey, what's up, Neofetch? That guy is a lifesaver. He's been helping me with. Is it guard? What is it? GOAD games of Active Directory. I was like fucking with this thing for like 3 hours yesterday, and the damn thing still doesn't work. So I'll hit you up soon, uh, or if you got that, because so a game of Active Directory. If those folks that don't know, if you're not familiar with it, it's like it's a full-on Active Directory forest with like 3 domains, 2 forests, or
Oh, that's really cool.
and it's all in Vagrant and in Docker, and it's just like pushed out with like
Oh
a
my gosh, I
script.
wish I had this like early on in
It,
my life.
so like usually you would set up your Active Directory, you set up your Kali machine, 2 Windows machines. This thing
Yeah.
is like quote unquote, click of a button. I'm still having problems here, but almost there. Like this kid knows Exegol. If you guys have any questions with Exegol, he's a part of that team. You know, he's doing great things, and I'm grateful to be a part of the new Reddit thread for Exegol, and kudos to Charlie, the founder of Exegol. Exegol is an awesome. So that's what I want to do. I want to end up getting like GOAD,
Yeah.
and then I was trying to do that in Kali Linux last night just because I was like, oh, if I have this everything on Kali with VirtualBox, I can just attack that with my Kali. But now I'm going to try to do it with Ubuntu, and then Ubuntu run Exegol within there. But
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I want to have to talk to Neofetch. That guy, or I think he's still in college or something. So he's a
Oh, that's
kid.
cool.
He's
Yeah,
doing
continue
awesome.
that passion, man.
Yeah. So yeah, going
Edgelord.
back to the haters, going back to the haters, like, so how do you deal with that? Like, we talk about all the love and the support that we get from the community, but then on the flip side of that, it's like, have you ever personally got attacked? Not like maybe like physically, but like, oh, you're an idiot, or
Yep.
you talk shit, you don't even know what you're talking about, blah 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 blah.
Yeah. I absolutely do. I handle things a lot different than other people. Maybe it's because I'm a lady.
Mm-hmm.
In the direct messages, I had this one guy. He personally was trolling on all of my posts on every single platform. Like, dude was making new accounts. It didn't matter. I never responded at first because I was like, yeah, what? Like, if you have time to do that, then whatever. I guess I gave you a hobby and you're boosting my view count. I don't know. Like,
Uh-huh.
sure. And after like one comment, I don't even remember what it was because it was so insignificant, but it really, I was like, I want to talk to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not angry at him. I'm not upset. And I tend to not be an angry person. I'm very golden retriever ask like happy go lucky. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
let's go do something. And I messaged him and I said, "Hey, I see you've been really engaged in my stuff lately." And you could see like the dots typing immediately. And he goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Your last comment, like, what did you mean by that?" And my post was something about like careers, and I don't have any cyber certifications. I don't. I will absolutely tell people you can't take away their education no matter what it is, but
Mhm.
I never went the cert route, and that was because it was expensive, when I was first getting into the field, and now
Mhm.
there's a lot of, like, academic discounts, emerging, contributor discounts and stuff like that, and that was what the post was, and so he basically said something along the lines like how I'm a fraud, how I'm lying, giving false hope, and blah, 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 blah. And of course, like, you have a strong following, people are gonna comment back pretty fast to that and, whatever. So I reached out to him directly and I said, "Hey, um, what like I just want to understand, I'm not disagreeing, I'm not arguing. I just want to understand." And he goes, like, "I have all of these certs and acronyms. I've had to work hard to get here and this and that." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Why are you angry at my post?" And he goes, like, "People like you just they don't promote the hard work and stuff like that in the field and this and that." And I was like, "Have you thought," I said, "You have a really good story here." And I said, "I really think there's a different way that we can probably promote what you're wanting to do here."
Mhm.
And I said, "And here's the thing, I'm really glad I reached out to you. I really am. And like, we all have different journeys. We all have different stories." And I said, "I'm sorry my journey didn't resonate with you. It sounds like you had a very, very hard journey, very, like, strong, educated." And I said, "Let me tell you how I can get your story out there, essentially, because that story might inspire someone else."
Mhm.
And, he blocked me. But at the same time, it's just like, you people are either gonna be respectful or they're not, and it doesn't matter if you work in cyber, it doesn't matter if you work in IT, and I think, like, you and I've talked about this, like, respect and empathy for others goes such a long way, especially, like, with this field, like, we're so collaborative, and we wanna share ideas and help each other, but the moment you burn a bridge, it is so hard, so, so, so hard to build that up, and especially, like, with how small this community is.
Mhm.
Everyone knows someone that is very personable, influential, and just like, memorable person, period. And you don't want to burn a bridge because it might burn a city down with it.
Yeah, no, I totally get that, and thank you for sharing that. Because I truly believe that people, like, should be a little more respectful, and I like to speak on that because, like, I recently started coming out with my disability, right? Like,
Yeah,
and it was something that I've been living with for forever, right? Like, I've been since I was a kid. Like, my mother was a heroin addict. She passed away. Like,
yeah.
I died twice. They revised me. I had brain, like, I went through some shit in my life. So it's like, if someone's gonna go out there just because I read a little slower than you, or if I'm just like I don't grasp it as quickly, or whatever the case may be, because yeah, I have a few acronyms behind my name, and I can say the same thing. Well, I had to work really hard for those things, and I have to keep thorough notes because I forget quickly or whatever. But like, what I'm good at, right? But like, if I'm just and you know I because of my upbringing, and this is what we spoke about this offline, like, of my upbringing, I handle things a little differently, not your traditional way, right? And I'm going to say it like that. And
I enjoy your stories.
it's just like, you know what, like, just be careful, right? Because like they say, no face no case. So, and that's the way I grew up, you know what I mean? And if those folks that don't know what that means, go Google it. I'm not going to explain it. But, so it's like, this is the stuff. And then when something, I guess, like, when you addressed it, like, hey, like, what's wrong? Sort of like a therapist. And then obviously that aggravated him because it didn't really bother him, or it didn't bother you in the fact, like, he didn't get the reaction that he wanted.
I
You
was
were
just
kind of like,
genuinely curious. He caught me at the right time. I was in between my true crime. My dad was blocked on Facebook. I had a lot of cycles that day.
yeah, exactly. And it's just like, hey, like, be nice because you never know who you're going to cross in the real world. Right. And I've, I've seen things and people talking rubbish. Like, if you're talking rubbish, whatever, you can talk shit. I don't care. But when you start, like, for an example, I was live doing, I think, Blackfield or whatever, some box,
Yeah.
and doing, and Paul can vouch for it, and I don't know if Paul's in here, but doing Hack the Box live, especially on a hard
That
machine,
is people, like, do not realize how intimidating that is.
it is, it is, and then like I forgot to like do, or I think it was like LSAS dump or whatever,
Yeah,
doing like
yeah.
LSAS with like Mimikatz or whatever. And then, like, I remember because I have sock puppet accounts all over.
Yeah,
If
yeah, yeah,
I'm,
yeah, yeah.
I'm blocked on one, or if I got deleted off this one, I have 10 fucking other ones. So I'm gonna see, and I have evidence. I have a fucking evidence folder on my NAS. So if I ever see you, I have all the fucking dirt. So you can't
Yeah,
say it wasn't you. So like I say this all the time with my friends. Like this thing, I play dumb. I like to be the dumbest in the room, just to observe, so no one thinks it's me. That's my dad taught me when I was young. Play stupid, because then they don't accuse you because you're the dumb one, right? So so yeah, and then going back to like being nice, because you never know who you're gonna run into, and it's like when you run into that person and you're like, yo, what up? And it's like, oh, now you shit your pants. But it's like, be nice,
we're
because
white.
like, just be nice. That
Yeah,
don't. I always say, like, I should get a fucking shirt say "Don't be a dick," you know.
at
And
InfoSecPat.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So I just really just want everyone to be super nice, because no one knows what people are going through. We can be all pretty on camera and like, oh, what's up, guys? Thank you so much. Hey, thanks, Chris. Like, thank you, all this stuff. When we turn up the camera, you don't know what the fuck I'm going through. You have
Yeah,
no idea. These people don't have no idea. Like, I can be fucking punching holes in the wall. You know what I mean? And just angry, angry, angry,
yeah,
because all the shit that I've been through, and I have to put on this smile for this fucking camera, right? And then when you throw a comment in, and if I see it and I wring your fucking neck, then it's like, oh, like what happened? You know what
yeah,
I mean? It's like, you don't know me. You know what I mean? You just know a fucking infosec pat on the internet, but you have no idea what goes on behind the camera. And
yeah,
I'm just saying that because that goes for everyone. You know,
yeah,
you don't know who you're gonna catch on what day. You don't know if they know where you live. You never know. You know what I mean? So the moral of the story: don't be a dick. Be nice. But
for your, gear store, you need to have, like, a mushroom shirt that says, "Don't be a fungus." Um, so, okay, my turn to ask you a question.
ask me. Go for it.
Okay, and then I think we should turn Thirsty Thursday into Truth Thursday. Truth Thursday? I don't that's a word now. Okay, so these are truth bomb questions, so I hope you're ready.
Go for it.
Palm sweaty, palm
Weak
spaghetti.
knees, weak arms.
Okay, what is the worst job description you have ever read in your life?
What is the worst job description?
Yeah. So I'll go first. It was actually yesterday at 12:30 in the afternoon. I was enjoying my midday coffee and Red Bull. Opened up LinkedIn and I was like, "Huh, look, entry level positions." And it said I can't even, like, there's so many misspellings. I thought it was like a phishing email. And I felt bad, but like, bro, there's enough tools out there to like just run it through it. Like spell check and word. Like
I don't write half the shit anymore, because I have my idea and I throw it in AI and it writes for me, and I'll just tweak it. So there's all my commas, exclamation, all my grammar and punctuation for me. Fuck that.
uh my I have a member of my family. They have a magnet on their fridge that says, "Let's eat grandma," and then "Let's eat, comma, grandma," and they're like, commas matter. And that was kind of like the theme of this job posting. And it goes, "We need seniors." I'm like, "Seniors what?" And the posting was for a SOC analyst for entry level. Like, it wasn't just like posted in the entry level category. The title of the job said entry level analyst, and the first sentence says, "We need seniors." I'm like, okay. And then it
Yeah,
goes, "We need seniors." And then you scroll down the qualifications and it goes, 20 years experience. And I'm like, half of these people are 20 yet that are entry level.
yeah, that is true. I think I think like uh, this was years, many years ago, like when like system admin, a system engineer, network engineer, it said like IT network manager, right? That
Yeah.
was the and then when you it was like an entry level like things like network technician type stuff and understanding VLANs and LAN segments and blah blah blah. But it and then I applied. This was probably like 10 years ago, maybe more now. And like I just applied and I was like, oh, like what are we going to be managing? Oh, just manage the network. So that's a then you administer the network, right?
Yeah.
And which when because it's not it probably is the worst probably I've seen that
Yeah.
just popped up in my head. Because it's more misleading versus the worst. It's just very misleading. But yeah,
Oh, CISSP for entry level. Oh, I got a story with that. So, I was doing a talk about writing job descriptions on this topic. And I was like, "Hey, here's an example of like, a job description that probably isn't the best for an entry level." And one of the requirements was CISSP for an internship. And I was like, "Who here in the audience has their CISSP?" And this one guy raised his hand. And I was like, "What's your name?" He goes, "Jackson." And I was like, "Congrats on your internship, man." And it was just like this older dude, and he did not think it was funny. I thought I was funny.
that is pretty funny because if those people know what the CISSP really is and how to get it, you have to get sponsored. You have to
Yep.
have 5 years in the like 5 years like not only experience because anyone can say they have 5 years experience. You
Yeah.
have to actually have proof from someone that sponsors you
Yep.
that can justify those 5 years. And you have 8 domains. Like I did my CISSP back in 2018, so or 2016 actually.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's not an entry level cert. It's definitely not, and it's more like managerial. If
Yeah.
it's more
There's a
like
lot of topics in there too. Like, bless anyone that's studied for it and gone through it. Oh my goodness. Okay,
yeah,
ready for truth question number 2?
yeah. Go for
Okay.
it.
Let me ask ChatGPT. 1 second. Okay. What I okay. What is the worst interview question you've ever been asked?
What is the worst interview? So like the this is a true this is true what I want to say, and I don't remember why I said this and how my day was, and I don't even recall. Oh yeah, I do recall what company, but they asked me like, where do you see yourself in 5 years, or where do you and I said alive,
Yeah.
because that matters more to me than fucking
Oh
in this
yeah.
job, right? Like, and then he goes, oh no, in your career. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be here for 5 years. You know what I mean? Like, how can I answer that question?
Yeah.
You know? And I said, can we skip this question because it's stupid? Like, I didn't like that question. Like, and same thing about tell me about yourself. Like, what do you want to know about me? Do you want to know how many people, whatever? I'll keep that to, myself. Or like, do you want to know like what I ate for dinner last night? What I like to do in my free time? Like, my career? Like, that's such an open ended question. I don't like that question. Me
No,
personally,
yeah.
like, tell me about yourself. Like, oh, do you want to know how old I am? You want to know how many kids I got? How many wives I have? Like, what do you want to know? But yeah, stupid questions like that. So you want to
Should have
have
been like,
another? You ever have another?
I was 9 years old. I went to the gas station. I took gum and I didn't pay for it. Didn't tell anyone but you.
Yeah, exactly. You
I
have
think that's
another
called ethics,
question?
you know? Let's see here. I think,
Time for one more.
this was a long time ago, long time ago. I had an interview and like it's pros and cons being a female in the field. Like you can tell this was during like the big boom in diversity hiring too.
Hmm.
And so a lot of the interviews I were getting was to meet diversity requirements by these companies for interviews and stuff like that. And good or bad thing or whatever, this one was they had no interest in me whatsoever.
Mm.
And the HR person was very nice, very professional. I got to the hiring manager and he wanted absolutely nothing to do with me. And he goes, "What are you applying for?" And I said, "You don't know the job I'm applying for? Don't you have the description right in front of you?" And he goes, "Yeah, but why are you applying for this?" And I said, "What?" and, and I always, maybe it's just me, but I think it's a red flag when hiring teams don't turn on their camera for remote interviews. It just feels not personable to me, and it
Hmm.
just like it sets the tone, in my opinion. And everyone's different. Some people just, that's just who they are or whatever. But to me, it sets the tone. And I was like, and my camera was on. I did not care. And I was like,
Hmm.
"Excuse me?" And he goes, "Yeah, why are you applying for this?" And I was like, I was like, "I'm trying to understand the question."
Hmm.
And he goes, "Why do you want the job?" I said, "Here, let me like flip this on you. Why are you hiring?" And
Yeah, that's a good one.
not saying there's red flags here, man, but I already in my mind, I was like, I no, like, no, thank you.
This is not a spot for me. Yeah.
Yeah, no. And oh, it gets better. It gets way better. So he was like, "So, yeah, we're just trying to grow the team." I was like, "Oh, okay." And he goes, "What, I'm confused as to why you put this much for your starting salary." And it was 20K less in the area. I mean, I learned a lesson after this, and it's put what you think you're worth.
Hmm.
And it was 20K less in the area. It's very underpaid. And I said, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "Why do you think you deserve this much?" He goes, "You don't even have a security plus. How do I know you're qualified?" I was like, "Excuse me?" And he goes, "Yeah, like," and like, I have a master's degree and, like,
Yeah.
4 years of experience underneath my belt, and I was like, "What?" He goes, "I guess I need to ask you technical questions now." And I said, "Okay." And and so this guy, his technical questions, he was all like, "You get an email. How do you know if it's phishing?" And this is for, like an architect position. And I was like, "W what?" And he goes, "You get an email. How do you know it's phishing?" I was like, "Well, obviously there's a fish logo on it." Like, I was like, "No, man." Like, and I listed like 6 to 8 attributes, and he goes, "Okay, I guess that's fine." And he goes, "How do you know if a computer's hacked?" I said, "What?" I was like, "Are you qualified to be asking questions?"
That's what I was just gonna say. He probably has like the questions and answers on another screen. Like,
I'm not, I thought I was like on a TV show. Like, okay, so it looks like Chris asked, "What is your opinion on interview prep and canned answers to common questions versus no prep?" I will say, and Pat, you can disagree. I will say if you're applying for a company and you get the interview, I really, really encourage people to look at their mission, vision, and culture on their website and essentially what they do. I don't know how many interviews I've been in where they're like, "Yeah, so what do you know what we do?" And I'm like, "I know your stocks aren't good." But but yeah, no, like I always tell people to really look at their culture. Sometimes Glassdoor might have some good reviews, sometimes it doesn't. You know, everyone's subjected to their own opinion, but truly, like, maybe you can reach out to, you know, someone that might work there on LinkedIn that seems like a friendly person, and just ask how they enjoyed their experience essentially. And people will be honest, you know. Some people might be like, "Hey man, I'm just clocking the clock right now, punching in, punching out," you know. And one thing I always recommend to people, if you're really excited about this interview, I always try to relay my answers back to their culture. Like if they're very innovative, you know, maybe you want to talk about more how you overcame problems or found solutions to something that wasn't straightforward. So I'm more focused on that. The technical piece, you're not going to know everything in an interview.
hmm.
Just be who you are and what you know. And at the end of the day, like that team's gonna train you on their processes, their procedures, and their tech stuff. As long as you have foundations, you can take that anywhere with you, in my opinion. So,
Yeah, no, I totally agree, 1000%. Yeah, I think there's. I don't. I never really prep. This is me personally. Like when I would go to interviews, but I've been a little blessed in the sense of like. So my first job ever, like I worked at this company called Tag, the Answer Group. doing support for Microsoft, Comcast, and Gateway Computers. And then I went to a company called EdgeMed Solutions, or International Computer Maintenance, with JRock71. He got me my first IT job. And I think I've said this story, when I first got into it. He had like an MCP, and I didn't know anything about certifications. And I remember talking to this guy, Don. And if Jay's still on, Don was an old man that did all the bench work. And I went to him and I was like, hey, man, like, I want to be like Lisa. And this Lisa and Jay, like, they were like the head honchos there, like the seniors, I guess. And I was asking about certifications and about all that stuff. So going back to what I was saying, like, I just been blessed, like, with there. I didn't, I had to talk to, fuck, what was his name? Mark. I think his name was Mark. Like, I had to talk to Mark and to the management and even to Lisa for the interview. But Jay already gave like that little preliminary step, like, hey, like, I vouch for him. He's going to come under my wing. And, I would go out to client sites with him. I would shadow him. I learned a lot with him and Lisa. And then I took that and I just kept on going. Right.
Yeah.
So, in the next position I got was with a friend I played hockey with. And like, his company was hiring. And then, so, and then where I was, I don't like to mention too many companies. I don't like to, I like to keep my business to myself. But,
Yeah.
like, the only I only had an interview really one time to get into a company.
Yeah.
Like, that I didn't know anyone, right? So one time in my career. Anywhere else, I knew someone that can vouch for my. It's not only about the technical stuff, because I don't know. I don't always know it all.
Yeah.
And they're like right now. Yeah, there's projects that I'm working on the back end, and like mobile app hacking. Mobile apps is not really my forte. I never really touched with APKs and divulge and static and dynamic analysis and stuff like that. With like, I don't really put that out there either, but I never really dove into it. And then like a friend of mine, he has been on my show, um, uh, Jay, Gainsec. Uh, he doesn't like to put his public name out there, but like Gainsec, he's just like, hey man, you need to learn this. This is what I've been. This is what you should do. Blah blah blah. Because I wanted to help him with some stuff, and he's like, hey, you have to do this, and then we can do that per se. And so I've just been always pretty grateful and lucky in a sense that I never really had to go through that whole like, oh, my name is Pat, and I don't know this,
No,
and I
it's
know.
Patrick in an interview.
No, and it's funny because they always ask me like, "Do you like to be called Pat or Patrick?" I'm like, "No, just
You should
it
just
says
say a random name like Kevin.
I like to be called Kevin." And yeah, you see, like Jay's the worst interview question. What are your faults? That's another one, right? That is a good one. Like, what are your faults? Like, how about we all have faults and good pros and cons, but like, why do we have to talk about the negative? You bring a negative energy right into from the jump.
Yeah.
How about like, what can you bring to the table? Like, what kind of like cool things have you worked on? Whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
What makes you
and
excited?
yeah, what
What
makes
are
you
you
excited?
passionate about? What are you doing on your own? What projects are you working on? Were you like, are you studying for something? I like to hear what other people are doing because like to me, when I hear people talk about their passions, you can always see like they get
Oh,
excited and their eyes light up and then like they go and like that's that is a selling point to me. And if
yep.
you're just like, I don't know, I go golfing with the bros on Saturdays, I'm just like, cool, but what else are you working on? I don't know, my forearm. Like what?
My
I
arm
don't know
wrestling
golf
forearm.
talk. So
Exactly, exactly. So if you have any, so I didn't see any questions in the chat really, besides Christopher's. See, like Christopher, I don't know if he goes by Chris or Christopher, and I
I
always
call
call people,
Christopher Chris. Chris, you're Chris.
and
Or
then
Kevin. Everyone could be
Kevin.
Kevin. I think the other week everyone was Derek. So
Yeah. So
oh, here's one by ChatGPT. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through the list of 1,000
yeah,
questions I had to populate.
yeah.
Um
This will be the last one, and we'll call it a night because I want to respect your time too. So this will be the last one,
okay,
and
last one. Oh, sorry. Wow, we did hit the hour. Okay.
yeah,
What is what is the most I would say weirdest thing that's happened to you on a call?
like on a work call.
Yeah.
What is the weirdest thing? Oh, that yeah. So, um, and
This is a good one to end on, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. So in my office, I have a stand-up desk,
Oh god.
and in my stand-up desk, like I was
Do we
rushing.
need to end this stream real quick?
Yeah, I was rushing to my meeting, and like I dropped uh I don't know, I dropped something on my shirt. I was like, "Oh fuck it, I'll just take this shirt off because it was soaked." I forgot what I spilled on it. So I just took it off and I threw it downstairs. And then when I joined the call, it joined with the camera on, so they saw my like stomach. and then and then whose abs are those? I know, like, those bitches aren't abs, but thank you. And literally, like, I didn't even see it because remember, like, my I'll have to show you a picture, but like my monitor is up here and like the laptop's down here, so like the camera's like here, and like I just look at everything up top. And I was on there probably like 45 seconds to a minute.
You should have been like, sorry guys, wrong job.
Exactly. I was
The
trying to go
more
on my
background just didn't get
OnlyFans.
everything.
And but obviously it was like funny, and like there was like 6, 7 people that saw it, and like four of them were females, right? And I was like, fuck me. And but they all made like, they're like, oh, are you applying for Magic Mike? Like
Oh my
they
god.
like that's why I've been really, really grateful, and for the companies that I work for. So I thought I was like, oh man, I'm getting the fucking boot. They're thinking I'm like naked here. And but yeah, it was that was probably the funniest. What about yours?
So this one isn't mine. This one is from one of my friends. I went to college with him, and he works out in IT support. He's a Windows admin now, but he started out in help desk. And he called me one day. This is like our first year after graduation. We're in corporate and everything. He calls me. He goes, "Bro, you know the movie The Office?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "That's pretty spot on." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "So get this." And he was on a call and he was troubleshooting for the user. And he goes, all of a sudden the user got quiet. And the user goes, "Hey, just hold a second, like be right back." And it's internal help desk. So like these are
Yeah,
people of the company they're doing IT troubleshooting for.
yeah,
And so he's like, "Hold on, be right back." And so he he can hear the user get up. And I guess, like, his office or something might have been next to, like, his workstation or something, and then he goes, "It sounded like frying chicken." And then all of a sudden, it sounded like stones plopping. And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, and then I hear, "Oh, no." Like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I was like, "Are you okay?" And the only thing I could hear is, "Oh, no, oh, no, oh, no."
fucking burning down the house with
And
his.
so then you hear, like, the flush of the toilet, and then he gets back to the call, and I was like, "What did you say?" And I said, my friend goes, he goes, "Why didn't you wash your hands?" He's like, "No, you like, and then he just, like, hung up.
That's crazy. That is a good one. So one more question from NeoFetch. I think this is good, a golden question. We'll end it here. Um, will AI replace cyber jobs?
I think yes and no. Me personally, I think it'll replace a lot of the redundancy and guessing work of our jobs, but we're gonna have to take that data and make it actionable. Essentially, at end of the day, my AI engine right now it just cracks me dad jokes and emojis and everything else. But at the at end of the day, I have to do something with what it's giving me,
Hmm.
and even a lot of companies now they're doing AI security engineers because now we're talking about DLP, we're talking about data privacy with internal AI engines, or if you
Hmm.
use a AI chatbot for customer support, that's customer data that needs to be secured with something on the back end. So there's going to be more in my opinion jobs because of AI, but a lot of the manual stuff in my opinion won't be a bother for us.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I don't think it's gonna. Me personally, like I use AI all the time, literally every day, and so far it's been making my job easier.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, we can Google stuff, and but Google, you have a whole bunch of pages. For example, if I'm looking at I'll just throw an example. MDE, right? People been seeing I've been doing a lot of Microsoft search just
Yeah.
for some reason. And then, okay, like if I want to learn more about KQL, I'm not a really KQL expert, but I know enough to get myself in trouble. So like I can say, okay, create me a KQL query for seeing what CrowdStrike agents are still left
Yep.
on in
Yep.
the network because we have to make sure MDEs on everything, and it'll just like spit it out, and I'll just take it, copy it in advanced hunting, because I use security.microsoft.com. I hate going to actually Sentinel. I don't know, it's just me. But then I'll just like, I just like, okay, say, and boom, it give it to me. So I use it for like scripting
Yeah.
stuff. That stuff, because I'm not really good with that.
Yeah.
So I just leverage that. I leverage AI for it. But as far as like, the stinger put me onto pen test GPT. Like if I'm doing a pen test or anything
Yeah.
like that, it help me. It's not going to take it away. It's going to give me those. It's going to break down those steps in order for me to be more like efficient. Right? It's like, okay, like I can go to my Notion and check my internal pen testing. This is what I do. I start with an Nmap, a responder, you know, NCLM relay, blah, 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 like doing all my Windows shit. But at least with this, it can give me that and more. Like sometimes I can be like, okay, give me the command that I need to run also, and it'll just give me like the whole
Yep.
checklist. So I don't think it's going to take your job away, but I enjoy it. I have fun with it,
Yeah.
and I
We gave
leverage it
it
all the
some
time.
fun questions tonight, so
Yeah, and we'll definitely have to do this again. So
Truth Thursday. Let's go.
exactly. So if anyone wants to connect with you, what is a way? Like obviously subscribe to your channel. You're streaming your channel. Follow you everywhere if you want to check up on how you're doing. So how can people find you if they have any questions and support you in any way?
Yeah. Unlike Pat, you can find me on LinkedIn. Um, at Reanna Schultz.
Can't find
There's not
me.
many out there. There's definitely not any Pats anymore. So yeah, definitely follow me now since you can't follow him. Uh, you can find me on X at CyberRihanna, 1R, and then Blue Sky, same thing, first and last name. And of course, you can always check out my YouTube video channel at Cyberspeak Labs. So yeah,
Sweet. Awesome. Much love. Thank you so much, everyone. And until next time, so if you guys go to DEF CON, Black Hat, you guys see me around, please say hello. I won't bite. If I'm busy, I might tell you to go fuck off. I'm just kidding. But thank you so much, and have a good one.